Hello everyone. In this lesson we will learn about categories. Before we ask ourselves the question, what is a category? Let's begin by looking at our website and giving ourselves a goal. So our goal for this lesson is to add 2 new links to the main navigation menu. One link will be named Travel and the other will be named Recipes. When we click on travel, it should take us to a listing of only blog posts that are related to travel. And when we click on recipes, it should take us to a listing of only blog posts that include recipes. In order to achieve this, we are going to leverage something called categories. Let's begin by jumping over to our admin dashboard and creating a few dummy filler example blog posts. So I will use this link in my top bar to jump to the admin area. And then in my left-hand sidebar, I will look for posts. And within this menu, I will use add new. All right, now on my example website, travel is going to be one of my categories. So I might name one of my blog posts, Trip to the West Coast. But in your case, when you're following along, feel free to make up whatever category you want. Maybe instead of travel-related blog posts, you have blog posts related to automobiles or computers or the stock exchange or the weather or I don't know, anything, right? So feel free to use whatever content you want. Down here in this field, I will just paste in a bit of lorem ipsum dummy content. And now here is the important part. Over in the right-hand column, if we scroll down a little bit, notice this box named Categories. As of this moment, I don't have any categories. So you can see that the only box I have here to check is something called Uncategorized. So what I can do is use this Add New Category link. So if I click this, Add New Category, now I have this empty text field, and I'm just going to type Travel, and then scroll down a little bit, and now I can click this Add New Category button. Perfect. So I just created a new category named Travel, and you can see that this box is checked, and that's my way of telling WordPress that this new post that I'm creating, Trip to the West Coast, should be categorized under the Travel category. All right, this looks good. So now I'm going to use the Publish button in the top right corner to save that blog post. Perfect. Here we see the success message, post published. Now just so we have a bit more content to experiment with, I'm going to create another new blog post under the travel category. So I can use this add new button here, or in my sidebar I can use this add new button. So I will create another new blog post named Trip to the East Coast. And then in this field I'll just paste in the dummy content again. Scroll down a little bit, and in the right-hand column, I'm looking for this categories box, and I will check travel, and then I will save or publish this post. While I'm at it, I will create another new post, so a third travel-related post. So add new, I will title this one, Trip to the Midwest. Paste in a bit of filler content. Scroll down a bit. Within this categories box, choose travel. Use this publish button to save this post. All right, so now I have my 3 example travel posts. Next, I'm going to create 3 example recipe posts. So again, I will use this add new button. I will title this blog post Easy Spaghetti. Paste in a bit of filler content. And here's the important part. Down in the right-hand column, within this categories box, I do not want to assign this Easy Spaghetti post to the travel category. Instead, I want to create a new category. I want to add a new one. So click Add New Category. Within this box, I will type Recipes, and then click the Add New Category button. Perfect. So with this Recipes checkmark checked, I can just scroll up and publish or save this post. All right, so that's one example recipe post. Let's create another one. So add new. I will name this post Homemade French Bread, and then paste in a bit of dummy content. Scroll down, look within this box, check the recipes category. Then go ahead and publish or save this post. And finally, let's create one additional recipe post. So add new. I will title this one Greek salad. Paste in my content. Scroll down. Be sure to check the recipes checkbox under categories and then publish. All right, so at this point, I have all of my example posts ready to go. And if I switch back to my public-facing website, here's the home page, and we can see all of the posts that we just created. All right, and remember, our goal is to add new links in our main navigation area of travel and recipes. And when we click on one of those links, we want to see a filtered listing of only that category of posts. So to add our two links to this navigation menu, I'm just going to jump back to the admin portion of my website using this top left link. In the sidebar, I'm going to look for Appearance. And then within this pop-out menu, I will look for the item named Menus. All right, so here are the links that are currently in our main navigation menu. And remember, we've used this area several times in the course so far. This is a listing of all available pages. But you'll notice below that area, we see a few other options. Posts, custom links, and categories. So if we click on this categories area, now we are presented with a list of all of our categories. And if I click on travel and then add to menu, that will add a link to the travel category in our main menu. I also want to add a link to the recipes, so I will check that. You could have checked both of them at the same time and then just clicked Add to Menu. All right, there we see it. Now I want the Contact Us page to be the last link in the menu, so I'm just going to drag and drop it here. All right, the menu looks good to me, so I will click the blue Save Menu button. And now if I jump back to the public-facing front end of my website, here's the home page, but if I use the navigation menu to click on Travel, perfect. So here we see a filtered listing of only travel-related posts. So trip to the Midwest, trip to the East Coast, trip to the West Coast. And if I scroll back up and click on Recipes, beautiful. We see Greek salad, homemade French bread, and easy spaghetti. Now this is a great setup because maybe a week from now we'll come back to our website and want to add a new recipe. And all we need to do is create a new post and assign it to the recipes category, and it will automatically show up at the very top of our recipes page. Now at this point you might be thinking to yourself, okay, so I'm starting to get the grasp of things. Now I know how to create a dedicated page for only recipe blog posts. And I have a dedicated page for travel-related blog posts. Your next thought might be that maybe you don't want your home page. So if I click this logo to go back to my home page, now maybe you don't want your home page to just be a generic blog listing of all categories. Right? So instead, maybe you want your home page to feature static content, content that welcomes the visitors to the website, and maybe features some of your top content. You get the idea. Not everyone wants their homepage to be a generic blog listing. So in our next lesson, we will learn how to create a custom homepage. You will learn how to make your homepage contain whatever content you want it to have, and perhaps you want to move your generic all categories blog listing to a new page named Blog, and maybe include a link to that in the main navigation menu. Or maybe you just don't want a generic all categories blog listing at all. Maybe you only want these filtered category blog pages. It's totally up to you, right? This is your website and you can structure it however you please. All right, so coming up next, we will learn how to create a custom homepage. Should be a ton of fun. Let's keep rolling, and I will see you in the next lesson. Hello, everyone. In this lesson, we will learn how to create a custom homepage. Let's dive right into the action. All right, so this is the homepage of my website. By default, WordPress makes your homepage simply a listing of all of your latest blog posts. However, not everyone wants that for their homepage. Maybe you would rather move your blog to a dedicated page in your navigation named Blog, and that would free up your homepage for whatever custom content you want to use. So let's go ahead and set that up. It's actually very simple to create a custom homepage. So the first step is to jump over to our admin dashboard area. And what we're going to do is create 2 new pages. So in the left-hand sidebar, look for Pages, and then click Add New. This first page that I'm creating will be my home page. So I will give it a title of Welcome. So that way, the first thing visitors of my website will see is a large Welcome headline. But you don't have to name it Welcome. You could use whatever title you want for your home page. Within the main content field, for the time being, I will just add a bit of placeholder content. This is temporary homepage placeholder content. You get the idea. And then I will go ahead and click the right-hand blue Publish button. Okay, now let's create another page. So you can use this Add New button, or you can use this Add New button. This new page will be the generic blog listing screen. So I'm going to give it a title of Blog, but maybe you want to name it News or Journal or something along those lines. You get the idea. But I'm going to name mine Blog. You could name it whatever you want. And for this page, we can literally leave this main content field completely blank. Then let's just go ahead and use the right-hand blue Publish button. All right, and with those 2 new pages created, our next step is to look in the left-hand sidebar for Settings. So Settings is towards the very bottom of the menu. And then within its pop-up menu, look for the Reading item. So I click on Reading. Now this first option is what we are interested in. So it reads Front Page Displays, and then you can choose between your latest posts, which is the generic blog listing that our homepage is currently using, or you can click on this option, Use a Static Page. So I'm going to click on that option, and then that will let me customize these 2 options. So this first field lets me choose what I want my front page or home page to be. So if I click on this, I can choose from any of my currently existing pages. I'm going to choose the welcome page that we created just a moment ago. I want that to be my front page or home page. And then for this field, the posts page, that will just be the generic blog listing. So again, I can choose any of my pages, but obviously I'm going to choose that brand new blog page that I just created. All right, this looks good. So now I'm going to click this blue Save Changes towards the bottom. And now let's jump back to our public front-facing website to see these changes in action. Perfect. So this is the home page, and now the only content we see is from that welcome page we created just a moment ago. Next, let's work on adding a link to our main navigation menu that will point towards our main generic blog listing. Or in other words, that page that I created just a moment ago that I titled Blog. So to edit this navigation menu, I will jump to the admin area. Within the sidebar, I will look for Appearance. And then within this pop-up menu, I will click on Menus. All right, by this point, we are at least a little bit familiar with this menu screen. So we know that this area is a list of all of our available pages. So if I want to add blog to the menu, I just check the checkbox and then click Add to Menu. Perfect, here's that new link, and maybe I want to drag and drop it so that it's towards the top or the front of my menu. And then I can just click Save Menu. And then if I switch back to my public website, here's the home page again. Only now notice the menu bar includes a link to blog, and when I click it, here we see the blog listing for all categories that just a few minutes ago was our home page. Now it's up to you if you actually want to use a blog link in your navigation. For this particular website that I'm working on, I'm not sure that I want this link. I think I'm happy just having a static content home page along with my travel blog category page and my recipes category blog page. So the choice is yours. You do not have to include a generic blog link. But a lot of people will indeed want a blog area, so I wanted to be sure to show you how to set that up. Alright, now before we bring this lesson to a close, let's remember that practice makes perfect. So let's work on adding a bit of real content to this homepage welcome page. So I will jump back to my admin dashboard. In the sidebar, I will look for pages. I will click on that. Here's a list of all of the pages I currently have. Down at the bottom, I see the welcome page. That's the one I want to edit, so I will click on it. I'm happy with the title, but I think this main content could use a bit of work. So I will delete this, and it's not very much fun for you to watch me type out a bunch of text. So instead, I will just paste in a few paragraphs. So it says, hello and welcome, this is my homepage, and then just a bit of lorem ipsum dummy text. So feel free to type out your own text for this page. But what I really wanted to practice with you are the simple tasks of A, adding an image to this page, and B, creating links to our other pages within these paragraphs. I know that we've done both of those things in the course so far, but I think a little repetition and a little bit of practice is always a good thing. So for example, I want to add a photograph of myself that will sit right about here on the page, and I want the text to sort of wrap around it. So I will place my cursor at the beginning of this paragraph. Okay, and then I'm going to insert an image and sort of float it to the right. So again, with my cursor right about here before the word read, I will click this Add Media button. I'm going to upload a brand new photograph of myself, so I will use this Upload Files link. Then I will click Select Files. Here I have a file named Brad with Cat. That's the photo I want to use. Let me direct your attention towards the right-hand side of the page. So down here, WordPress remembers my alignment choice from the last time I inserted an image, but feel free to choose a different option if you like. I do want to float the image to the right-hand side of the content, so I will choose right. I will leave the size set to medium for now, and then I will just click Insert into Page. I think that looks good. Next, let's practice creating links within our paragraphs of text. So for example, here we see read about my story. Maybe I want those words to be a link to the About Us page. So I just highlight and drag that text, and then use this link up in the menu bar. When I hover over it, it reads Insert and Edit Link. That brings up this menu, and now I can just start typing or searching for the page I'm looking for. So I'm looking for the About Us page. Here it is, so I can just click on this result here, and then click this blue Apply button. All right, next up I see Check Out My Photo Gallery. So maybe I want the words Photo Gallery to link to the Photo Gallery page. So I select that, begin searching for that page. Here it is, Photo Gallery. Hit the blue Apply. Next, I see this sentence that reads, I blog about places I visit and also my favorite recipes. So maybe I want places I visit to link to the travel category page. So let's highlight those words and then click the link button. Search for travel. Now you'll notice that WordPress doesn't give me any results here. Now in the future, WordPress might update their software to automatically find category archive pages. But as of this moment, we are going to need to find our travel page's URL by ourselves. So let me show you how I would do that. Remember, we can always use this link to jump to our public-facing website, only if I click on that right now, it will take me away from this page authoring screen. So what I can do instead is right-click on it and click Open Link in New Tab. Okay, then within my new browser tab, I can switch to that and then just use my navigation area to click on Travel. And now in my address bar, I can see the URL for the travel page. So I will just select that, copy it, back in my first tab. Now I can just paste in that URL within this little menu. So paste it in, hit the blue Apply button. Okay, and let's do the same thing for right here where it says also my favorite recipes. So I will highlight favorite recipes, and I want that to link to the recipes screen. So click this link button. Back in my other tab, I will just navigate to the recipes page. And then up in my address bar, I will just select the address, the URL, copy it. Back in this tab, I will paste in the URL and click apply. Finally, down within this sentence, it says, if you want to share any ideas with me, I'd love for you to get in touch with me. So I will highlight get in touch with me and link that to my contact page. So click this link, begin searching for contact. There it is, click on that, hit the blue apply, and we are in business. So now I'm happy with this page. Let me use the right-hand blue update button. And now I can use the top left link to jump to my home page, my public-facing website. Perfect. So we have our new content, we've got my photograph, and we have the different links that we just created. And I think this is a much better home page than what we had when this lesson first began. Instead of a generic blog listing, now we have a bit of welcome text, and we're linking out to our various pages. We are letting our visitors know what they can find on this website. I think this is just a much better experience. But obviously, on your website, you're free to do whatever you would like. So if you want to keep your homepage as the blog listing screen, by all means, that's absolutely okay. That's actually going to bring this lesson to a close. In our next lesson, we will change gears a bit and jump back to blog posts. Let me give you a bit of a sneak peek of what we're going to learn. So for example, in my menu bar, if I navigate to the travel page, this page will show us the latest posts from the travel category, and currently it displays the full content of each post. But I think it would be better if it only showed maybe the first few sentences and then included a link that said, click to read more. Also, I think it would be nice if each post included a thumbnail image or a featured image to grab the attention of our visitors. Well, as you might have guessed, those are the exact two changes that we will learn how to make in our next lesson. It should be a ton of fun. Let's keep things rolling, and I will see you then. Hello, everyone. In this lesson, we will learn how to improve our blog posts. To be more specific, we will learn 3 new techniques that will allow us to create more captivating blogs. So by the end of this lesson, we will have answered the following questions. Number 1, what is a featured image? Number 2, what is the read more tag? And number 3, what is an excerpt within the context of WordPress? All right, now at this point, let's jump right into the action and begin answering those questions one by one. So here we are on my home page, and the first thing that I'm going to do, since this lesson is all about blog posts, is navigate to my travel page. So up in my navigation menu, I will click on Travel. All right, and remember this page will show the most recent blog posts from the travel category. So let's begin making a few improvements to this page. So here we see the first post, and then the second post, and then the third post. And currently this content looks a bit boring. I think it would be better if we included a photograph for each post right about here. Now, in previous lessons, we already learned how to add photographs within the content for a page or a post. Now, while that is certainly a valid way of adding photos to your content, in this lesson, I want to show you a feature that WordPress has that will let us associate an image with a post. So WordPress will create a one-to-one relationship between a post and its image. So for example, for this trip to the Midwest post, we can assign it a featured image, and then WordPress will use that featured image in relation to this post throughout our website. If that explanation didn't make a whole lot of sense, that's okay, because at this point, let me show you visually how to add a featured image. So for example, let's work on this trip to the Midwest post. So I will use this top left link to go into my admin dashboard. Within the sidebar, I will click on Posts to view a list of all of my posts. Here we see Trip to the Midwest, so I will click on that to edit it. All right, now your first instinct, if you want to add a photo here, might be to click into this main content field and insert an image right here. So maybe you would use the Add Media button. Now that will technically work, but I want to show you a better way. So let's leave this main content field alone, And instead, I want to direct your attention to the right-hand side of the screen. So if I scroll down a bit, actually, if I scroll down all the way, notice in the very bottom right-hand corner, this box named Featured Image. Let's click on the Set Featured Image link. I'm going to upload a new photo for this Trip to the Midwest post, so I will click on Upload Files, and then click Select Files. On my computer's desktop, I have a folder named Assets, and then within that folder, I have a folder named Travel. For this blog post, I'm going to use this photo of a field, so I will select that file. Once it finishes uploading, I will click Set Featured Image towards the bottom right corner, and there we see it. So at this point, I'm going to scroll back up and click the blue Update button. And now let me jump back to my public front-facing website. This is the home page. Let me jump back to the travel page. Okay, so for the first post, we see the title, Trip to the Midwest, and now we see the featured image. Now at this point, you might be wondering to yourself, why didn't we just add the image within the main content field for the post? What's the point of using the featured image option instead of just inserting the image along with the main content? Well, there are a few reasons. So number one, you'll notice that the content for this post lives in this column. And the information about the post, so the date that it was posted on and the category that it lives in, that information takes up this column. So if we would have inserted this image into the main content field with this text, then the image would have lived in this column. Instead, because we set this image to be the featured image, our 2016 theme, or whatever theme you are using, will be on the lookout for the featured image, and it will use it in special places in the layout. So for example, if we switched to a different theme instead of the 2016 theme, perhaps the featured image would be used as a smaller thumbnail right about here. The idea is that every theme is different, and it's up to the theme to use the featured image in a compelling way. Now let's get back to the task at hand. My goal is to make this travel page look as nice as possible. And currently, I think this photo is a bit too tall. I think it would look a lot nicer if this image used a really wide but not very tall landscape aspect ratio, right? Because that way we are still adding a bit of captivating imagery to this screen, but the image won't be as tall, so it won't force users to scroll down as far just to begin reading the real content. So to edit this featured image, or I should say to crop the featured image, I'm just going to jump back into my admin dashboard, click on Posts in the sidebar. Here is Trip to the Midwest. Let me click that again. Scroll down and look in the very bottom right corner for featured image. And if I click on that image, I can then look towards the top right corner and use this Edit Image option. Okay, now from this screen, I can simply click and drag the portion of the image that I want to use. All right, so I'm happy with that selection. Now to actually crop the image, just use this first icon here. Okay, so that cropped the image, and now just click the blue Save button. Then be sure to look in the bottom right corner for Set Featured Image. Perfect, so now we can see the image is cropped just the way we want it. So let's scroll back up and click Update to truly save our changes. And now if we jump back to our front-facing website, let me click on Travel. Perfect, I think that looks pretty nice. All right, now at this point in the lesson, we've learned what a featured image is. Next, let's change gears and learn about the Read More tag. So for example, with our Trip to the Midwest post, maybe on this screen that lists multiple posts, maybe on this screen we only want to show the first couple of sentences of this text, and then we want to include a link right about here that says, click to read more. And that link will take visitors to the detail or single view for just that one post. Now this is a fairly simple feature to implement. The only hard part is knowing where to look. So let me show you. So let me jump over to my admin dashboard. and click on Posts in the left-hand sidebar. I want to edit Trip to the Midwest, so I will click on that. All right, and let's say after these few sentences, so right here where the cursor is right now, this is where I want to insert the Read More link. So with my cursor placed right there, I can just go up to this menu and click on this icon that I'm selecting right now. If you hover over it, it reads Insert Read More tag. Okay, and here we can see that it was successfully added to my post. Now I'm going to save or update this post. So in the right-hand column, I will click the blue Update button. Then I will jump back to my public-facing website, click on Travel. Perfect, so we have our title, our featured image, and now we only see this little bit of text. And if a visitor is intrigued by this content, they can click this Continue Reading link, or they can click on the featured image or the title. So as an example, I will click on Continue Reading. WordPress even scrolls me down to the exact point on the page where the Read More insert tag was inserted. I believe it was right about here. But anyways, here we are on the dedicated single post view for Trip to the Midwest. And if we look up in our address bar, you can see that this is the detail screen for the Trip to the Midwest post. All right, so that's really all there is to the Read More tag. Once you know where to find that icon in the menu, it's very simple to use. So feel free to use that for any and all of your posts. Okay, so for a quick lesson recap, so far we've addressed featured images, the Read More tag. Next, let's change gears and talk about excerpts. As an example, I will continue to edit the Trip to the Midwest post. So let's jump over to the admin area, click on Posts. Here's Trip to the Midwest. Let's edit that one. All right, now by default, WordPress does not show us the option to create an excerpt. In order to begin using excerpts, we need to click this button towards the top right corner of the screen named Screen Options. So if I click that, this new menu area appears, and here we see Excerpt. So go ahead and check the checkbox right near the word Excerpt. And then to close this menu, you can just click Screen Options, which is right about here. Just click it one more time. All right, now if we scroll down towards the bottom of this screen, towards the bottom of the left-hand column, here we see a box named Excerpt. Now I realize there's a good chance you have no idea what an excerpt is, so let's find out by experimenting. So within this box, I will type, "This is an important snippet of text from the Midwest Trip post." You get the idea. You could type anything you want in this field. And now if I scroll up and save or update this post, and then jump back to my public-facing website and click on Travel, here we see the title of the post, and here we see the excerpt. Now remember, every theme is different. Now I'm using the 2016 theme, and it chooses to display the excerpt right here, but not every theme will do this. Each theme will style and position and use the excerpt differently. In other themes, when we fill out the excerpt field, it might not display this normal text here at all, and it might only display the excerpt until you click Continue Reading to view the full article. So I know it's a bit tricky to wrap your head around what the excerpt really is, because it's different in every theme, but in general, the excerpt field is your chance to provide a catchy, important part of the post, to catch people's eye, to get their attention, or to summarize the post in an interesting fashion. Also, I will point out that even within a single theme, the excerpt can be used in different ways on different pages. So for example, on this category archive screen, here we see the excerpt used in a slightly larger than average font. However, if I use my website's search functionality, and if I search for Midwest, there's only one result, obviously the Trip to the Midwest blog post, but now you'll notice that all we see is the title, the featured image, and instead of the regular text, here we see the excerpt. only it's not styled like a subheadline any longer. Now it just looks like standard small text. So long story short, think of the excerpt field as your chance to summarize a post. And that's actually going to bring this lesson to a close. To review, we learned about featured images, we learned about the read more tag, and finally we learned about excerpts. In our next lesson, we will begin learning about comments. Comments allow visitors of your website to interact with you. If you already know for a fact that you do not want commenting enabled on your website, that's a-okay. I will show you how to disable comments. But for a lot of people and a lot of websites, the comments section can create a vibrant community. Anyways, there's a lot to be said about comments. There's a lot to learn. We're going to have a blast. Let's keep things rolling, and I will see you in the next lesson.